Scorpio. So it's Rebecca with Empathic Crow, and I am trying to do the zodiac reads for May 2026. Scorpio, I had recorded your reading, our reading. I'm a Scorpio sun, and I've got 2 other Scorpio placements 2 days ago. And I left it. I watched it a couple of times, and it was good as far as like themes and things, but it was just really weird. The energy was really weird. The energy that day was really weird anyway. I since cleansed the space, made sure that it's not anything to do with my space, my things, whatever. But I don't know. So we're going to try again, but I'm feeling called before we do to kind of put a little bit of this cleanse and protection spray. This is from one of my friends, Kara, Kerr the Medium. She's on TikTok. Kerr the Medium 225, I believe it is. We're going to ground and protect. We're going to do this pure love spray. Give you some. Oh, don't get it on my water. I love it because it smells like roses. And we're going to move this camera just a little bit because I feel like I'm in the edge of the camera. There we go. I don't have another tea light over here, but we're just going to light this one. I think I lit it last night during the Aquarius read. But listen, Scorpio. We are only 1 minute and 41 seconds in. And like I said, I went ahead and I deleted that reading. But we had themes of I'm trying to remember. Balance was the biggest one. Needing balance. Inner child work. I can't remember. So, and like I said, I've already deleted it. Now, when I sat down today, and I got a whole new paper because I haven't done Leo or Libra yet, and I just kind of wrote them randomly down this time instead of, usually I'll do like the sign that is the first one for that month and go. But this time it felt like we needed to shift the energy. And maybe that's part of the reason I'm telling you this, is there needs to be a shift in the energy. I know we've got the Scorpio full moon coming up, and I get 2 to 3 days before, 2 to 3 days after, you're going to feel that energy. And right now, today, when I am, for the second time, recording the Scorpio video for May, it is, I think today's the 28th of April. So let's see what's going on, because I think you're going to be the only reading I get in before I have to go do some more things. But let's see. Yes, Heartbreaker by Pat Benatar was the song that was coming through. See, even like my brain is all over the place. And Heartbreaker was coming through, specifically the part where it's like, your love is like a tidal wave, spinning out of control. All right, there's my little clover that I found earlier today. But I'm really feeling called to light the heart chakra candle. I made this, and I'll have to make more. The phone just glitched. I don't know if that's going to show up on the thing. That is not the right lighter for that because I burned it down a little bit. Like I said, Scorpio, you're reading the energy. I don't know if it's just super intense. I don't know if it's just wacky. And it was funny because last night when I did the Aquarius reading, this burned down really quickly. As far as the flame went down, the stem quite a bit. But the candle itself, the wax remained quite a bit intact. And then here we are right now, and the wax, the candle flame is high. So yeah, there's a lot of intensity to this energy. Let me pause this, and I'm going to get the longer lighter. All right, so I got the longer lighter, and we're going to light the heart chakra candle. And I was going to say I'm also going to light the throat chakra candle because it just felt like there was this stifling of the message, and then all of a sudden I start losing my voice. So where's my throat chakra candle? It's right here. So we're going to light the throat chakra candle too. Just pulling out all the stops for you, Scorpio. And it didn't light. May need some more lighter fluid. There we go. Clear that throat chakra. All right. Set this somewhere safe. We'll set it right there. All right, we're going to put the throat chakra candle up here. And we're going to get into this read. What is going on, Scorpio? When it comes to that, your love is like a tidal wave spinning out of control. I think that's how she's, but anyway. All I see is the tidal wave coming in and crashing on the shore and just pulling anything that it can backward. And so basically that's saying that your love is like bowling people over, taking people out, and like taking names and walking away is how it feels. And that's not how all of us are, and that may not even be the energy that all of us are in. But let's see where that song is coming from and what's going on. Scorpio, are you the heartbreaker? Is your heart broken? Are you feeling vulnerable? I know inner child and inner child responses was part of the first message. And like I said, balance was the big thing. I can't remember. All right, I'm feeling called, even though these are pre-shuffled, to shuffle this. I'm hearing 3 times, which is cool because 3 is what I like to do as far as my shuffles. And I'm hearing pay attention. For some reason, I was getting the 3 knocks, and 3 knocks for me means pay attention. So, whether that's for me, you, or both of us, Scorpio, pay attention. All right, let's see what's going on, Scorpio. I feel like we need to take a grounding breath. 7:11 on the clock when I said that. So if you want to breathe in with me, you can, or you can skip or watch or whatever. Yeah, all I'm seeing is green, bright green. So working on that heart chakra, that's in the center, and then a thin blue line. So I feel like with that, it makes sense that we're lighting the heart chakra and the throat chakra candles, because it feels like your heart is this is a big heart moment. I am like at a loss for words. Like I said, throat chakra. It's like your heart is just, I'm hearing overrunning, but that's not the word I'm looking for. There's an intensity. That's all I can say. Like, if you've watched my other videos, I don't usually have this happen, but Scorpio, second time trying to record this thing. There's an intense emotion in your heart. Maybe I'm not supposed to define what that emotion is, but it's like there's this thin blue line around it. And the blue represents the throat chakra for me. So it's like there's this intense emotion, but your ability to communicate what that emotion is, or to communicate in order to move through it, for some reason it's very limited. So Scorpio, let's see what we get from the cards. We're starting out with the Wheel of Fortune. So that's a 10. And 10 is kind of the completion of a cycle. Now remember, with the Wheel of Fortune in life, sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. And how we decide to respond to those times determines how quickly we move through those times when things are down, how much we enjoy the times when things are feeling much better. We don't always realize that, especially like I'm seeing these birds, it almost looks like they're pinned down on this wheel, like in a carnival is the way I'm seeing it. And there's a lack of freedom. You feel like you're stuck. You feel like you're just part of everyone's game. You're just this piece in a game that other people get to move and win and whatever it is. And I feel like this is Spirit saying to you, you have to understand that you are still free. Not every one of these birds actually has a red pen in it. You have choices. They may be limited at times, just like that communication is limited right now. But you do still have options. And with the Wheel of Fortune, we've got the Lion for Leo. We have the Bull for Taurus. I think that is that Aquarius? My brain is tired. Please excuse me. And then we've got Scorpio, yourself. So I'm hearing the balance again. It's understanding that even if you are a Scorpio sun, even if you don't have some of these other elements in your placements, it's understanding that all of them play a part, that every part of you, what I'm hearing, every part of you plays a part in your journey. And I'm hearing a lot of words at one time, like free will, choices. There's a lot going on. It's understanding you do have free will, even though there are some things that may be fated or destined or whatever you want to say. At the same time, you have a choice in what you do. 11:11 on the clock, because you're not pinned down. You're not in a storybook. Like, if you want to think of it as a book, there were these books, I don't know if they still have this type of book out or if they're popular or whatever, but when I was a kid, I would sometimes read these books, the Choose or Which Way book. And so you'd read to the bottom of the chapter and it would say, go to such and such page for this or go to such and such page for that. And so you got to choose your journey. Or even think of the movie The Labyrinth, because I'm seeing Jennifer Connelly in that movie right now. And she's going through the labyrinth and she gets to choose, and not every path is going to lead her in the right direction. And sometimes she's going to have to turn around and come back. And there's like the little worm that's like, hello. And, I'm not going to go through the whole scene, but he's cute. The little purple worm, right? 12:12 on the clock. And he gives her information, but it's misinformation. And sometimes it's going to feel like you don't get to decide, that others dictate things for you, and stuff is going to happen. Things that you do not expect are going to happen. And that's where the wheel turns into this space where it feels like it's less fortunate. There's less things that are good. But again, how quickly you move through it and how you move through it it's your decision. It's our decision how we decide to experience and what we decide to do when we're in difficult moments or when we're in good moments. You may have a really good moment and it feels like you are so focused on what might go wrong that you don't even enjoy the moment. So Scorpio, I feel like Spirit's saying, I'm hearing it. Don't put too much weight on the influence of others in your life. Others do influence your life to some extent, but you still get to make the decision. And I'm not trying to point at you. That's just the energy of what's coming through on here. Let's see. What else, Spirit? What's down there at the bottom? I can't fully tell. It looks like, yeah, we've got a snake. We've got a snake at the bottom, and then it almost looks like a little koi fish. I don't think it is, but there's definitely a blue snake right here. And with that blue snake, it feels like that's partly you blocking your communication. I say as my throat feels like it tightens up, because what I was going to say is the snake, it's like this chokehold, feeling kind of frozen, or feeling like there's a grip around your throat, like you can't speak, but you can. Part of that's getting into this lion energy down here, not like the lion in the Wizard of Oz, who eventually does find his voice. But that's what it is that you're eventually finding your voice and speaking your truth. Not all truth is... Not all truth. What is coming through? Not all truth is true to everyone. Not all truth is true to everyone. So Spirit says, not all truth is true to everyone. Ha! And Spirit's coming through saying, see, look at what we're telling you. It's all about a perspective shift. Freedom or trapped. And with these red flowers down here, I talk about root chakra, that you're being called to get grounded into what you actually see, not just what you think. Sometimes our thoughts get us really trapped in situations that, yes, we might have gotten into them anyway, but when we get in our head and then we're creating all these worries, we stay stuck in this position when, look, we've got flowers up here. There's a new beginning. You have freedom. You can soar. So sometimes the wheel is not in a downward position, or we're not at the bottom of the wheel. But because we're so focused on our thoughts and what we think, 15:55 on the clock, we are keeping ourselves stuck. We are the tidal wave coming in and taking ourselves out, not just everyone else. That's the thing, like, the tidal wave may not be affected, right? Because it's a wave. Now, everything in it may be affected. But what I'm seeing is where somebody tries to, I'm not getting a full image, but it's the sense and the visual is somebody trying to do something. Okay, now I'm getting something. So imagine that you're trying to trip someone. Why you would do this, I don't know. I'm seeing like, this isn't something that happened in one of these shows or movies, but kind of like slapstick comedy type stuff, right? And so somebody sticks their foot out. Now I'm seeing Larry, Moe, and Curly to give me the the actual reference. So yeah, like that, where somebody tries to do something against someone else and they end up being the one to get hurt or fall over or whatever. So somebody sticks their leg out to trip someone and then they end up falling over themselves or falling over too. And so it's like, don't put yourself in this position where you're so focused on what you think things should look like and how you think 1711. I don't know. I've never called that one, but that just stuck out. How you think things should be going to your detriment, doing things to your detriment. That's what it feels like. So Scorpio, you're highly intuitive. You are. But just like everyone else, we're going to get in our head sometimes. Knight of Cups. So look at this. It's like raining fish. It's raining fish. I feel like that's your emotions. Like, it's raining fish. This horse is even on the beach. It's not a tidal wave coming in. The waves are coming in though. Look at this. But with this horse, and there's still flowers. There's still flowers around the neck. We even have angel wings for that divine guidance. And I know I'm kind of like stopping mid-sentence to say things, but here's the thing. That horse, it isn't running in. It's not coming in like a tidal wave. It's just moving into the sand. That's what it's doing. It even looks like it's smiling, to be honest. Can you see that? So this horse is like, hey, we've got a cup. We've got a cup. We're coming onto dry land. But at the same time, this card looks so chaotic to me right now. There's the fish raining down. The blue is just kind of in swirls and not even cohesively. Like, there's, matrix is the only word I'm thinking of. Like when you're looking at a stone and it's got the little patterns on it. The other thing I noticed is right here, it looks like there's an eye, if you can see it between those fish. I don't know if you're feeling vulnerable because you feel like people are looking at you and they're seeing your emotions, or you're trying to hide your emotions so people don't see them. But it feels like there's a lot of emotion, like even around this bird. I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like there's resistance, like there's wind resistance. So this horse is coming in and it's all calm. It's got the angel wings on it, the flowers, the cup. Like, it feels like the horse represents trusting the new beginning, the things that are going on. And the crow is like, trust. I don't even know what's in this cup. I can't trust this. Do you see all the fish that are raining down? Do you, like, here's the moon. it almost looks hidden. So the moon may bring to light things that are hidden, but it almost looks like the moon is being hidden. Like, I don't want to see the things that I haven't seen or that are hidden. I don't want to deal with my anxiety. I don't want to deal with my emotions. Because why? Because why? Because dealing with the emotions might get you out of this hanged man position. It might get you in a place where the will, maybe actually the will is in. You are at the top. It is upright. Anything else from the Crow Tarot, or are we going somewhere else? Because Scorpio, we're at 20 minutes already. I have a hiccup. Two of Swords. This is, when I see this, it's feeling very guarded. The blindfold's on. It's like you're blinded to, I heard the truth, but you're blinded to something because you're on guard. You're trying to protect yourself and there's nobody there. There's nobody there. Just you. So this is where I say sometimes we are blocking ourselves because we're so worried that something is going to happen. We're so worried something's going to happen, so we block ourselves. All right, bottom of the deck is the Fool. It's time to change. It's time to do something different. And even though you may be feeling anxious about it right now, you know, that moon and the Knight of Cups, and then I talked about the worry that I was feeling from this card, even though you may not trust it right now, sometimes we just, like, here's this fern, this growth. In order to grow, in order for things to change, here's even some lotus flowers, I think. It looks like it in the camera. Yeah. You have to grow up through the mud. It's not going to feel easy. But you got to move. You got to do something different. You got to make a change. You have to turn that perspective around. Because nothing's going to change if we keep doing the same things over and over again. So whatever it is that you want, you may not get. And it may not even be because it's not right there in front of you. It's just, have you ever looked for something and you're so upset that you can't find it and you're looking all over the place, like you're rummaging through everything, and then finally you're just like 22 on the clock. All right, let me look again. And you start looking, and maybe you're going a bit slower this time, and it's right there, right where you looked before. That's what this feels like, that it's like right in front of you, but you've got the blindfold on. Not necessarily literally, but you've metaphorically got the blindfold on. You're not seeing things necessarily as they are. You're stuck in your head, and so it feels like you're in this energy where you're pinned down. All right, we're going to get away from the Crow Tarot. My nose is itchy for some reason, excuse me. Whew, the intense energy. And yes, Scorpio, I know we can be intense, but, and that, like I said, we're feeling the energy already of the Scorpio full moon that's coming up. But what is going on here? 2311. 11 seems to be a big number for you. I think I've said 11 several times. Where are we going right now, Spirit? Let's go to the Cosmic Record deck, because I feel like what we're needing is some, like, super clear clarity. I mean, we've already got quite a bit of advice, but let's see if we can get some super clear clarity. So, Spirit, what does Scorpio need to know in relation to this message for May 2026, or whenever they are watching it? That's too many. All right. Take control. Goodness gracious. There's stuff flying around everywhere, birds going all over the place. In a relationship or situation, your passive stance has caused you to miss opportunities that should have been yours. Now is the moment to take charge, step forward, and claim what is rightfully yours. I feel like this is talking about missing out on the opportunities because you're so distracted looking, or you're possibly, no, in this message, I'm direct. We're just going to be direct. When I'm doing these readings, I just tell you what I'm saying. I don't know why I even felt like I wanted to soften that. Because you don't necessarily need it softened. And that's exactly what this card is saying is, and it was 2444 when I said that. You don't have to step up to every argument that you're invited to. I'm seeing a fire. Like every fire that happens, you don't have to be putting the fire out. And it's not, I'm seeing it's not a confrontation, but it's just you focusing on doing what you want to do versus focusing on whatever you feel like is going on, whether it is or not. You take back the control by focusing on what you feel called to do or what you feel is right. And it's not even that you have to fight or unite people or stand up or give a public speech or whatever. It's just that you focus on what's true to you is what I'm hearing. What's true in your heart. Anything else? Yeah, because you're stifling your communication or somebody else is, because here goes my throat again. Redefine, clear the clutter from your heart and release those who no longer align with your life's path. Every choice you make shapes your future. Now is the time to reassess the relationship and goals that no longer serve you, making room for more joy and growth. So with this person, it looks like they're tapping into some higher self or divine guidance, whatever it is, and saying, am I holding on to this thought, this pattern, this situation, this relationship, whatever, and I don't even know what I want from it, but it's affecting me, and I'm not moving forward. I'm not focusing on the things that I want to do. That's why we have to take control. You got to redefine what things mean to you. Because that's the thing. What you see as meaning something to you may mean something completely different to someone else. And that's okay. But I feel like what we're getting here is, if it is creating problems for you in your life, it is creating problems for you in your life, you are the only one that can take the reins, turn it around, take the reins, turn it around, and be more like your horse in the Knight of Cups. Be more like your horse, more focused on the things that bring you joy, calm, peace, divine connection, new beginnings, whatever, and not so focused on worrying about, what is everybody else doing? What's going on around me? Sometimes we have to be able to deal with the things going on around us, but sometimes we're just creating situations. Yeah, we'll leave that hanged man there. Creating situations that aren't necessary. We're going to leave it that way so that you see it as upright, because that is the message here, is for you to be able to turn your perspective around, Scorpio. Now I got a hiccup. And to understand that, I'm hearing Betty Ross. Was it Betty Ross? I don't know. Roosevelt? I don't know. Somebody said, and don't quote me, but there was that phrase somebody said, it's coming into my head. Betsy Ross. Is that it? I don't know. Anyway, not important. I can't remember it. It just flew away. Like literally flew out of my head. But it was something about no one can, it's not control you or create fear. I can't remember. But no one can have, basically, this is not the quote, but basically that no one can have power over your life without your consent. That was part of it, without your consent. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Boom. That's what it is. And that brings us back to the Lion in the very first card, the Wheel of Fortune. So it may not feel like you're giving others consent or permission to touch on your vulnerabilities and make you feel like you've lost control or whatever it is. But at the same time, it's recognizing that other person or situation or whatever may not even be aware that you were triggered or you felt like you were being made to feel inferior or whatever it is. So you can't control other people, or situations, whether they feel or it is this way or not. All you can control is how you choose to move. So you can choose to move by flying free and doing what feels right to you and where you feel called to and focusing on things that elevate and lift you. Or you can choose to feel like you're at the bottom of the wheel and stuck. So definitely this is about a perspective change, Scorpio. Let's try to bring in some kind of like, where can we go from here? If you've watched my videos, you know, I'm always like, okay, if this was intense, this was heavy, or this was spirit giving us a lecture, let's see where we can go from here. So let's start with Rebecca Campbell. Nope. We're going to start with Amanda Lynn Elsling, the Inner Child Oracle, because this definitely still feels inner child. It was similar to the reading that I did not feel fully explained the message in a way that felt, I don't know, it just felt weird. The energy felt weird. 30:30 on the clock. So let's just see. We'll go with 2. What inner child aspect, what inner child guidance do we have for Scorpio? Inner child guidance for Scorpio, please. I feel like I've said this at least a couple of times in several of my readings, but it feels, the energy feels stubborn. It just feels stubborn. It's like, inner child, I don't think so. I don't think so. Spirit says, watch me. All right. It was 31:11 when I said that. So the card is 35. 35 breaks down to 8. 8 is the strength card in the tarot, which is also that Leo lion energy. There is hope ahead. Have courage and take heart, for there is hope. Scorpio, things are feeling kind of wonky right now. The energy's feeling off. You're feeling overloaded. You're feeling like you just aren't even sure which way to turn, or I'm hearing who to trust, who has your back, supports, things like that. Just know that it's okay. And notice that she's alone in this card. If you see her, she's right there. I know my lighting, I need to get better lighting. Eventually we will do that, right? Meaning Empathic Crow, my husband and I, we will get me better lighting to do these. But there are lights, and even the structures, like, they're transparent. The structures, I'm seeing it as where I was saying, like with this blindfold, sometimes the things that you think are there, they're creating these blocks for you. Or even with this Knight of Cups, there's 2 different perspectives, right? Aren't necessarily a block. I feel like I've said that in several of these readings as well. There's a lot of pink, violet, yellow, indigo, just all those solar plexus up type chakras. And so it's reconnecting with your heart center, allowing yourself to balance that solar plexus and let go of some of the anxieties, to focus on that hope, to be able to reconnect with your intuition. The intuition is there, but the anxiety is sometimes overriding it, because the fear, either from past things that have happened or worry about things that may not have happened or may never happen. 33:11 on the clock. Again, 11s tending to be pretty important and powerful for you, Scorpio. And some of us may be November Scorpios. Just thought of that. I am. And so 11 is representative even of our birth month. And 11 is a master number. So there's a lot of power here that you have, but you may not feel it, and that's okay. But Spirit's saying to try to flip the script, try to turn it around. That Hanged Man, change the perspective. Anything else from the Inner Child Oracle? 42, that breaks down to a 6. You deserve to be seen. Let yourself be known. Look at how beautiful in springtime that is. The biggest thing that's popping out to me is this pink flower over here. So we've got heart on the outside and the solar plexus on the inside. And there's a rainbow over here that I'm seeing. But with that flower, it's like allowing yourself to stop guarding so much and allow yourself to bloom. Let your heart be seen. Let your anxiety subside. Know that, yes, sometimes things are going to be difficult, but sometimes they're beautiful. And if we have that blindfold on, like in the 2 of Swords, then we're missing out on that. This one's sticking out, so we'll pull it out too. So this is a number 2, and there's a full moon in this card. Accept what is. The act of acceptance will bring peace. 34:44 as I was looking up. So this person, notice they're in this contemplative type of pose. And those structures, like I talked about how these structures, they're not very well defined, whereas these structures, they're solid. They've crumbled, but they're solid. But when you look up past them, maybe you can see through these, but when you look up past these structures, you see the stars, you see the moon. Even all around her are these beautiful flowers, but she's not looking at that because she hasn't accepted what is and how things are. She's so focused on what she's worried about. She's not released those anxieties, released the things that she doesn't want to carry forward. So this is calling you, especially right now with this Scorpio full moon, because I'm going to try to post these before, I think May 1st, maybe the full moon. Although, like I said, I think I said you feel the energy a few days before and after. So I encourage you, Scorpio, to try to think of whether the full moon is still around or not when you see this. What is it that you'd like to release? And then allow yourself to do that. I hope this helps. It has been incredibly intense. I have this pain right over my head. I don't know if you've felt that, but I understand now why I re-recorded the video, because the first one, it got the information through, but this one, Spirit came through way more powerful than even the first time. Why is my ear hurting? Popping it didn't help, or trying to pop it didn't help. But either way, maybe that's just a call for you to take note of how you're actually feeling. If you're running around trying to figure out what all is going on, you may not even have thought about, how do I feel? Do I need to eat? Am I even comfortable? Do I need more sleep? So sometimes, Scorpio, the best thing we can do for ourselves and others is to allow ourselves to focus on what we need. You can have, I'm hearing the phrase bleeding heart. You can have a bleeding heart. You can have a big heart. You can wear your heart on your sleeve, right? And that's okay. But at the end of the day, you still have to take care of you. Can't take care of anyone else if you aren't taking care of yourself. And I'm hearing it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. You don't need to do it all on your own. All right, Scorpio, I think that's it. If you would like to explore more about your personal journey, I definitely have services available that can help with that, or even trusting yourself, self-trust, in a way that I don't tell you what to do and how to do it. You can ask questions. We can talk about certain modalities, things like that. But it's about you learning how to be able to pick up on your intuitive hits and to trust that they really are those intuitive hits, and not let that anxiety, is that the moon? No, it's over here. That anxiety pull you back and make you doubt yourself or anyone else. All right, Scorpio, take care, and I hope to see you again in June. Bye for now.